Jeffrey is like the bottom 80% of men who don't even try. He doesn't exercise, he doesn't meditate, he doesn't practice gratitude, he doesn't read, he doesn't learn, he doesn't do anything productive. But he thinks that playing video games is productive. He thinks that practicing to be an esports player is productive. What a dumbass. Adonis, on the other hand, well, he's the best of us. He's the ultimate man that we aspire to be like. He's the tribe leader, the one who gives back the most. He delays gratification for the sake of other people. Because Adonis understands manhood. He understands what it takes to feel fulfilled, to work on yourself, to make sacrifices, to delay gratification instead of pursuing pleasure, to fill your cup to the brim so that you can start filling up the cups of the people that you love. Two very different lives. Think back to the choices that you've made over the last month. Which one does it sound like? A couple of weeks ago, I messaged a guy on Instagram. His name is Iman Gadzhi, and you might have seen a previous video where I mentioned him and how he retired his mother at such a young age. I messaged him and said that we should do a podcast, and he was down, and he said that he'd pay for the travels and everything for me to come to him. And so I was thinking, oh, like, you know, it'd be nice to come to London for a night or something. This motherfucker calls me and be like, oh yeah, like, we'll fly you out business class. So he's in Dubai at the moment. Flied me out business class, nice and fancy trip. This was actually the first experience I've had of being surrounded by like wealth and like ultra successful young people. So it was a very eye-opening experience for me. And so I lived with Iman in his apartment for like 4 days. We slept in the same bed. Nah, he gave me a separate bed, but he slept in that one with me. And I got to see what kind of person he was, what his lifestyle was, and I think it's very interesting because we talk a lot on my channel in like the red pill self-improvement spaces of like getting into the certain percentage of men who are like very successful, attractive, confident. I would go as far to say that this right here is a 0.1% man. That isn't me like, you know, trying to suck his dick or anything. The truth is that 80% of men are total fucking losers. And in terms of his wealth, I believe he'd be like 0.0001% or something, especially for young people. But even in his physique, something that he doesn't necessarily show off, but this is a well-rounded man who built up like a fantastic physique. I'm bigger than him though. Shut up, Iman. And the life setup that he has, living in a fancy place that's very central in Dubai. He has like popping social circles. Motherfucker goes on trips with like supermodels and does almost like a mini Dan Bilzerian lifestyle. It's very interesting. He's like a successful, focused guy who does focused periods of monk mode for like 6 months and then also does like the partying. So he does the iconic work hard, play hard. And since I got to know him, I saw like a softer side to him where we're talking about childhood trauma and the reason why it does all this. And so much of his work and the sacrifices that he's made, the dedication that he put in revolved around just helping his mother because he saw her work minimum wage and being unemployed, sometimes being on benefits. And that to me is like a very ambitious, like beautiful goal to have. I do consider Iman as like a very well-rounded young man and also as my friend now. So I wanted to do almost like an autistic case study to kind of explain to you what I saw there. It's specifically in terms of things like sexual market value. And I think this is going to be beneficial to the ambitious guys who see this guy and think, yeah, I could probably accomplish the same things as him. So he made most of his money through a social media marketing agency and through like investments like crypto. And he is worth, I believe, around 10 million right now at the age of 22. When he was around 16 or 17, that's when he started making like 50 to 100k profit per month. And I believe now he makes like a few 100,000 profit per month from the business plus investments. So that already is like a huge level of income. And what it equals to in terms of sexual market value is the life setup that he gets to have from this. A YouTuber I really like, First Man, spoke about this where he said that just numbers in your bank account, they're not sexy. It doesn't mean anything to be a rich. There's lots of like rich guys who are just fucking disgusting. It doesn't matter what the numbers are in your bank account in terms of sexual market value, in terms of attracting women. What truly matters is how that money is used. Iman uses his money by living in like a very central, beautiful, like up-level place in Dubai. I remember when I went to the chauffeur service that he organized for me to get like a chauffeur ride, and they asked me which address I was going to. I told them the place that I was going to where he lives, and they actually looked like very almost stunned and impressed. I get into the chauffeur, like the taxi, tell the same guy, he looks back at me impressed. That's the best place, that's one of the newest buildings. And I ended up telling a escort, it's a fucking long story, I ended up telling an escort where we were staying, and again, like I saw her eyes fucking light up. And no, I didn't fucking escort, bro. Relax. I think what I liked most about the level of wealth that he had was that he used it in very like sophisticated, like posh ways. Where, for example, he had like good whiskey and vodka always ready for us. He smoked cigars. He was getting like the, you know, the fancy wine, and he knew how to do like the wine tasting thing where the waiter will bring you the bottle and you have to nod and be like, yes, that is the bottle that I ordered. Then the waiter will pour like one sip into the glass, and you've got to do this bullshit of like swirl it, smell it, drink it, and be like, yes, it seems to be wine to me. And then on the second night that I was staying over in Dubai, and we end up going to a club with like, he knows like a bunch of people there. We walk in and he introduces me to like a couple of girls. They've got like table service. And he is the guy who like orders like the bottles, you know, like the champagne and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I always and still somewhat do have that feeling of like, oh, what a dickhead. Like he's just spent like $2,000 on like a couple bottles of champagne. But it's all relevant to how much money that you make. So there was a point when he casually said something which I think a lot of people would see it as like arrogant and everything. But to me, I saw it as inspiring. He said something like, yeah, but that's like £20 to me. When you make so much, your barrier to how much you spend, of course, increases. You can live the full on like lifestyle deflation, you know, the don't buy coffee type of financial advice. But the truth is, like, if you're a young guy and you've been financially free for fucking years and you're just railing in money, like, why wouldn't you fucking use? Like, I think it's easy for me and you right now to be sat here and be like, oh, like, but I wouldn't spend it on money like that. When you have every need checked off, when you've secured financial freedom years ago and your business and your investments are just making more and more and more and more, why not? And you know, it's not so much related to SMV, but I think one of the most beautiful things that Iman has done is that he's actually gave back. So he retired his mother, which is a beautiful story, but he's literally paid for schools to be built in like less fortunate countries. Do you know, I didn't even fucking like this guy. I'm gonna be completely honest. I told this to his face. The first time that I actually saw his videos about 2.5 years ago, I've told you the same story previously, that I was down bad. I was smoking weed all day just before I moved back home. And when I discovered online income and, you know, I was trying to like build money online and drop shipping and all this bullshit, his adverts would play on YouTube and I hated this motherfucker because I was so certain that he was lying. I was so certain that it was all bullshit, that there's no way that this guy's made so much money when he's younger than me. And once I got to know him and I've seen like the random stuff he's done, which is like, he's literally paid for schools. There's more than what meets the eye. And so how does this all relate to women dating and having sex? The truth is that I went to Dubai and it's probably what you would have expected. I was surrounded by definitely the most beautiful like Instagram model, but not really like the trashy Instagram model, as in like the model type of girls. Very interesting dynamic that I saw, which again is kind of like common sense, but when you see it, it just kind of like, you know, makes you think something, was that we went to like some parties and everything, and it was that same dynamic that I kept on seeing, which was like an older guy with a young beautiful woman. Kind of like stuff that Chris from the YouTube channel First Man talks about, like the male advantage. But in terms of Iman and the women that were around him, they looked beautiful and they seemed like nice, sophisticated girls. And he had like an aura around him, like this magnet around him of this like attention, and like everyone's focus is going there. And so when I asked him some autistic questions like, how attractive are the girls that you get, and you know, what is dating like for you? And he's showing me like some girls on like Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, like they were like fully like the fucking like 9s and 10s, like the real 9s and 10s. It was funny as he literally showed me that he's been with like the same girls that like famous rappers have been with. It's like showing me like that guy, like some famous rapper, like I won't say his name or anything just in case, but like famous rappers are following the same girl that he's been with. And I think one of the most important parts of all this was the level of confidence that he gained through these experiences. So there was a moment we were speaking about like hooking up and, you know, being a degenerate, and he was saying that he doesn't like the idea of chasing women and being in a club and, you know, going out. The specific words he used was that before he goes out to like a club or a party, he already knows which girl is going to come back with him. Here we have a young man who's built a certain lifestyle that I think an overwhelming majority of young men actually somewhat aspire to be like. I don't know if this video is making him to be seen as a degenerate. You know what, I was just kind of saying underneath my breath just then, I wasn't really expecting to put that bit in the video, where I just thought to myself, wait, is like, I like this guy, we're kind of friends, like is this video making him seem like a degenerate? Like is it making him seem like he's too much into casual sex? I think it's important that we talk about that. Like let's be unfiltered for a little bit, because whilst I don't want to offend him and say like, oh, maybe he's doing like, you know, too much casual, the thing is, yeah, like if I'll be completely truthfully honest, like yeah, I do, bitch, light. If I'm being truthfully honest, then yes, he is living like a bit of like the degenerate casual sex lifestyle, and he does say this stuff himself. He made a video where he talked about his top life lessons, and he said that hedonism does not equal happiness. Hedonism is kind of like the chase of pleasure. I personally relate to that, and I think you might be able to. But I can understand and somewhat relate that it would be very difficult to abstain from like, you know, cashing in and being able to sleep with girls when like you've reached that point when a lot of attractive women do want to be with you. It's something that I sound like a dickhead, oh, loads of girls want to be with me, but it's something that I have struggled with and I've spoke about on my channel over the last few months, that I've struggled with restraining from casual sex, because as my value goes up, as I'm getting more confident and successful and wealthy, I'm getting more and more women who are attracted to me, who are putting in the work. Like they seem to be like chasing me, they watch me on YouTube and everything, and it's hard to not indulge when you have the capability to enjoy a part of life that for probably many years you never really got to experience. And you know, it's like a rare experience for a guy to have. I think as young men who are on self-improvement, and young men of faith especially, we have this idea that the best case scenario is to, you know, not be a total degenerate, to not be like, you know, into rampant casual sex scene that kind of destroys your soul. But the truth is that the blatant, unfiltered truth is that the majority of us don't really have the opportunity to do that. So it's easy for us to, you know, say like, oh, I'm not going to sleep around because I'm Christian. But the real truth is, would women want to sleep with you? Because once you have that offer in front of you, I think a man does change, and I think that's when your values truly get tested. And I'll be completely, totally honest, like, when my values are tested like that, bro, I often fail 100%. It does sometimes feel like an addiction or something that I feel somewhat powerless to, that I've expressed that I don't want to be in like the casual sex scene anymore. I don't want to hook up with girls because it just like, it hurts my soul when I've somewhat connected to like girls that I don't want to be with, or that I've just gotten intimate with a girl that like whose name I don't even know. And yet when the offer is in front of me, when that girl is like looking up at me, bro, it's so fucking hard to like not pursue that. And I think it's especially hard when you have experienced the yearning for that for so long. It's a very interesting point. That being said, I have nothing but respect and gratitude for Iman. He invited me over to his home, showed me nothing but great hospitality, and I got to witness a side of life that I might not have experienced for a while. The video where he talks about his life lessons, it's like 50 minutes long. I've linked it in the description. Scroll down to the description right now and click on that top link and you can see his channel. Also, share this video to a friend who might be interested in this topic. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.